So the reunion for Love is Blind was so good. So much was said and revealed. There were some major embarrassments and some real emotional and heartfelt moments as well. But I want to talk about what went down with Sarah Ann, Jeremy, and Laura. I also want to talk about AD and Clay and Trevor. Lord, why did he even bother showing up to this reunion? Let's get into it. But before we get into this video, please do me a solid and hit that like button if you enjoy the content. Be sure to click on that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell for updates. Your support of the channel is immensely appreciated. Thank you. So the host starts off with Jeremy and they start grilling him. They want to know about the engagement he had right before he came on the show. Whew, how embarrassing. You got engaged right before you come on a show to get engaged to someone else. How does that work? He says both Laura and Sarah Ann knew he had a previous engagement, but the timeline he tried to give all of us really didn't make any sense, at least not to me. Sir, you are so messy. I'm glad your ex put your business all out on social media. Then they ask him about the new woman in his life and make a big deal about this mystery woman coming from behind the screen, which totally fell flat because we all know Sarah Ann was joining Jeremy on the stage. Give me a break. Come on and sit down, girl. Come on out. Sarah Ann then proceeds to sit there next to Jeremy looking a fool, trying to defend him in this ridiculous relationship. But Sarah Ann isn't on stage with Jeremy for long before they bring on Laura, of course, but via satellite because Laura was in Barcelona, Spain, and she was so ready to get into the mess. And I, for one, was glad to see her face because I heard she wasn't going to be at the reunion, and I was really disappointed because I wanted Laura to have her say. So fortunately, we did get to see her on screen, and she really seemed to be in good spirits despite everything that happened. And I was glad she had moved on and also confirmed she had a new man herself. Good for her. So anyway, Laura calls Jeremy a whole clown, which I just loved, and she starts getting into it with Sarah Ann. But to my surprise and delight, Laura didn't have to defend herself by herself. Vanessa was not letting up on Jeremy and not letting him get away with anything.
But the question was just, why would you leave your location on and then lie about it?
I didn't intentionally lie about that. I did share my location.
And then forget?
No, I just didn't have anything to hide.
So that's another lie. He lied about having a fiance before he came on the show. He lied about his location when his new fiance asked him where he'd been all night. And nobody really believes that all he and Sarah Ann did that night until 6 a.m. was talk. But Sarah Ann, of course, was backing up that story. And we got some never before seen footage of Laura having a sit down with Sarah Ann. And I don't know why they didn't show this during the season because I remember when they were at the lake, how I felt like the person who should be sitting down to get answers from Sarah Ann was Laura, not AD. Although AD was only trying to help, it was not AD's job to find out what happened that night at the bar until 6 a.m. That was Laura's job. Do you guys remember when AD tried to let Sarah Ann know she was wrong and Sarah Ann wasn't having any of it?
You don't think it's a little outlandish to tell a man who just got engaged that if the door's still open?
In this scenario, no, and not to interrupt you, in this scenario, no.
Well, it looks like Laura did confront Sarah Ann, only they just didn't air that sit down. So we got to see that at the reunion where Sarah Ann even apologized for being disrespectful and tried to plead her case to Laura that she had no ill intentions when she reached out to Jeremy.
I am sorry if I hurt you in any way, I really am, because I don't want you to think that I came to ruin your relationship. And I'm not gonna lie, I was in the real world while you guys were there, and I was kind of heartbroken, and I was just like, I'm just gonna send it and get it off my chest and move on with my life.
Yeah.
That's really what the intent was, and I hope you know that.
If you all caught the reunion, what did you think about this scene with Sarah Ann apologizing? Because they asked AD how she felt about it, and here's what she had to say. Child.
What did you think of Sarah Ann's apology to Laura just now?
I mean, I feel like it's null and void. I don't think it matters. You still pursued him. You still went after him. So sorry for what?
Did you see that look AD shot her? That little shoulder shrug she gave? Girl, I know that's right. You wanted him, you got him, girl. And good luck with that. Then Jessica jumped into the mix to defend Laura as well, which really had to contribute to Sarah Ann getting in her feelings because she had no one defending her. Everyone really seemed to just take up for Laura. But Jessica wanted both Jeremy and Sarah Ann to take some accountability and had some wise words to say to make them both see what everyone else was seeing.
We just, as a group, we all thought both of you could have handled the situation more respectfully.
Absolutely.
Just simply just show some consideration.
Thank you, Jessica. Now moving on to Trevor. Oh boy, Trevor. The obvious low point of the show. And yes, I was one of those that was rooting for Trevor, like, Trevor's such a good guy. Chelsea made the wrong choice. She should have chosen Trevor, and boy was I wrong. I mean, I couldn't have been more wrong. As it was revealed here on the reunion and on social media, how Trevor had a whole girlfriend that he was also saying he was going to marry before coming on the show. Nick and Vanessa wasted absolutely no time getting on his tail and reading those text messages out loud between himself and his girl right before he joined the show. This was so cringe.
I love you so much, honey. I'm excited for it, but more excited to get back to you after and start our life together.
She responded with, "Did you land?"
Trevor responded, "Just did."
What was with those facial expressions he was making? I guess he was so humiliated he just didn't know how to react.
Then, skipping to when you left the pods, you again wrote, "Do you still love me?"
She says, "Pumpkin, I'm crying."
You notice how the camera stayed on Chelsea while they were reading those texts? You know she was so pissed.
Trevor wrote, "I love you more than anything in this world, and I'm going to marry you. And I'm going to marry you. And I'm going to marry you."
Wow, Trevor, how in the hell are you going to propose to Chelsea, then come home and marry another woman? What in the hell?
Trevor says, "I hope you know how much I love you," and had to pretend that this wasn't real life to say anything I said.
She responds with, "It's okay, Pumpkin."
Man, if looks could kill, Trevor would be a dead man right now. Look at Chelsea's face. And when they asked Trevor to explain himself, he couldn't even think of anything to say. Come on, Trevor, you owe us, the audience members that supported you. You owe us an explanation. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
Nah, say it with your chest. Don't get quiet now. Don't get quiet now.
I had a whole thing planned to say. I don't know.
Yeah, so basically he had nothing to say and no defense. He did what he did, he lied, and completely and utterly humiliated himself to the point where he asked to just leave the stage. I mean, wow. All I can say is wow. But I was proud of Chelsea for saying that she couldn't quite pinpoint what it was about Trevor, but she knew something wasn't right, and she was glad she trusted her intuition and didn't choose him. Let's just move on. And let's get down to the nitty-gritty, because everybody wanted to hear from AD and Clay, although social media pretty much ruined the suspense because we could all see that AD seems to be back with Clay after all that. Unbelievable. But they asked AD how she felt about going back and watching what happened at the altar.
It was tough to watch because it was such a lead up for such a crazy letdown.
Yes, we all felt heartbroken and let down. At least I did. Until I saw you partying with Clay on social media acting like y'all all good now. And listen to what AD says when asked about dating Clay after he tells her saying no at the altar was a mistake.
And knowing that, like, there's nothing more that I could have done, and then to hear him say it was a mistake is like, what am I supposed to do with that information?
Do you think you would ever date him again?
Next question.
Now see, why they playing with us? Anyways, another key moment between these two that I thought was very poignant was when AD was asked how she felt seeing Clay's parents discuss Clay's issues with marriage. And I loved how Clay's mom talked about how Clay's issues stem from them as his parents.
With the marriage,
Okay.
is it sacred? Do you honor he struggles with that. And all of those emotions and twisted feelings, he took that to the altar.
Hearing that conversation really showed me that he was battling things that there's nothing I could have done to take that stress from him. And so hearing that conversation, I was like, wow, like that was deep. And I didn't want to respectfully be Clay's mom in the long run. I didn't want that to be my story.
Man, that was really powerful, but it also goes back to the fact that if you knew, AD, that Clay was having these issues, especially because he told you multiple times his struggles with infidelity, and you knew you didn't want to be like his mom, why did you say yes at the altar? Is it just me? You all let me know what you think. How do you feel about Clay and AD likely still being together? Did you feel like people ganged up on Sarah Ann, or were people justified in defending Laura? And please drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about Trevor and the way he humiliated himself on stage. Be sure to drop down in the comments and share your thoughts and opinions. And of course, if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Please go ahead and hit that like button if you got anything out of the content. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click that notification bell for updates. Thank you.